Feeling like things just aren't quite working the way they used to? Maybe there's a bit of uncertainty creeping in when you anticipate intimacy, or perhaps you've noticed changes that you just brush off, hoping they'll get better on their own. It's easy to do that, isn't it? To think it's just stress, or tiredness, or just a normal part of getting older. But sometimes, those little changes, those moments of doubt, can be our body's way of trying to tell us something important. Ignoring those signals, especially when it comes to something as personal and central to your well-being as erectile function, can feel like you're losing a part of yourself, a part of your vitality and confidence. That can be a painful reality to face, making you feel less like the man you know yourself to be. But here's the thing, those early signs are not a sentence. They are an opportunity. An opportunity to listen, to understand, and to take action. Urologists see these signs every single day, and they know that catching them early makes a world of difference. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 early signs of erectile dysfunction that a urologist would tell you to absolutely never ignore. These aren't just about performance. They're often indicators of your overall health, and paying attention to them is one of the best things you can do for yourself. We'll break down what these signs look and feel like, why they matter, and what you can do about them. It's about empowering you with knowledge, not causing alarm. So please, watch to the end for something that I believe will truly surprise you and offer a new perspective on this topic. Now let's start with the first sign that urologists often point to, one that might seem subtle but is actually quite significant when it comes to early detection. It's not the complete inability to get an erection, which is what many people mistakenly think ED always looks like. Instead, the first early sign you should never ignore is inconsistency. What does inconsistency mean in this context? It means that sometimes you can achieve an erection, and other times you can't, or it requires significantly more stimulation than it used to. Perhaps one day everything feels normal and works just fine, and the next day, under similar circumstances, it just doesn't happen, or it feels weak or unreliable. This unpredictable nature is often one of the very first signals that something in the system isn't working optimally all the time. Think of it like a car engine that sometimes starts perfectly, and sometimes sputters or refuses to turn over. That sputtering is a sign something needs looking at, even if it works fine later. Similarly, if you find that erections aren't happening reliably every time you want them to, or if the ease with which you achieve them fluctuates significantly from one instance to the next, that inconsistency is a flag worth noticing. It's the change from a predictable function to an unpredictable one. Why is this inconsistency such an important early sign? Because it often indicates that the underlying issue might not be a complete system failure yet, but rather a subtle impairment or a vulnerability in the complex process of achieving and maintaining an erection. The process involves your brain, hormones, nerves, blood vessels, and muscles all working in concert. Inconsistency can suggest that one or more of these components are under stress or beginning to weaken, and sometimes they can manage the task, but other times they struggle. For example, stress, anxiety, fatigue, or even early stages of conditions that affect blood flow can manifest as inconsistency before leading to a complete inability to get an erection. Psychologically, inconsistency can be particularly frustrating and anxiety-inducing. When you don't know if things will work when you want them to, it can create performance anxiety, which in turn can make the problem worse. This can create a vicious cycle where the fear of not getting an erection actually prevents you from getting one, even if there's not a severe physical issue yet. But it's crucial to remember that while psychological factors play a role, inconsistency can also be a symptom of physical changes starting to happen. It could be an early indicator of reduced blood flow, nerve damage, or hormonal imbalances that are just beginning to affect erectile function intermittently. For someone over 60, noticing this kind of inconsistency is particularly important because it could be one of the first subtle signs of underlying health conditions that are more common in this age group. Conditions like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, or even early stages of heart disease can all impact blood flow, which is essential for erections. Inconsistency might appear before these conditions cause more overt symptoms elsewhere in the body. Think of it as an early warning system specifically for your vascular health. If the blood vessels supplying the penis aren't as flexible or open as they should be, they might be able to get enough blood in some situations, but not others, especially under varying levels of arousal or psychological pressure. What can you do if you notice this inconsistency? The first step is simply acknowledging it without judgment. It's not a failing, it's information. Try to pay attention to when it happens and when it doesn't. Are there specific situations where it's more likely to occur? Are you particularly tired or stressed? Have you been eating differently? While you shouldn't obsess over it, a little bit of awareness can be helpful information to share with a doctor later. The most important action, however, is to recognize that inconsistency is a valid reason to speak to a healthcare professional, preferably a urologist or your primary care doctor. Don't wait until erections stop happening altogether. Discussing it when it's just inconsistent gives your doctor a better chance to identify the root cause, which could be something relatively simple to address or an early sign of something more significant that needs medical management. Bringing up inconsistency allows for a proactive approach. Your doctor might recommend some basic tests, like blood work to check for diabetes, cholesterol, and hormone levels, or they might check your blood pressure. They can also help you explore potential psychological factors like stress or anxiety and offer strategies or resources to manage them. Sometimes, simply understanding that inconsistency is common and treatable can reduce the anxiety surrounding it, which can in itself improve function. Delaying the conversation because you hope it will just go away on its own is what urologists advise against. Inconsistency is a signal that your body is sending, and listening early can make a significant difference in both your erectile health and potentially your overall health. It's an opportunity to address potential issues while they are still in their early, often more manageable stages. Now that we've discussed the importance of that initial inconsistency, let's turn our attention to the second early sign that urologists urge men not to overlook. This sign often relates to the ability to maintain an erection once it's achieved. It's one thing to get an erection, but can you keep it firm enough for satisfactory intimacy? The second early sign is difficulty maintaining an erection. This isn't about never being able to get one, but rather experiencing situations where the erection starts to fade or completely goes away during sexual activity, even if there was sufficient stimulation initially. You might notice that while you can become erect, it doesn't stay firm for as long as you or your partner would like, or it diminishes significantly when you change positions or as intimacy progresses. This can be incredibly frustrating and disheartening because you feel like you're halfway there, only for things to lose steam. Why is difficulty maintaining firmness a critical early warning sign? Because maintaining an erection requires robust and sustained blood flow into the penis and the trapping of that blood within the erectile tissues. This process relies heavily on the health and function of your blood vessels. If the blood vessels are becoming less elastic, narrower, or if the mechanism that traps the blood isn't working as efficiently as it should, maintaining firmness becomes difficult. Difficulty maintaining an erection is very often linked to vascular issues, problems with blood flow. This is significant because the blood vessels supplying the penis are relatively small. They can be like the canaries in the coal mine for the larger blood vessels in your body, including those supplying your heart and brain. If the small vessels in the penis are starting to show signs of impaired function due to plaque buildup or hardening, atherosclerosis, it could be an early indicator that similar processes are occurring in other parts of your cardiovascular system. For men over 60, recognizing difficulty maintaining an erection is especially important because this age group is at higher risk for conditions that affect blood flow, such as heart disease, stroke, and peripheral artery disease. While difficulty maintaining an erection is not a guarantee that you have one of these conditions, it significantly increases the probability that you should be evaluated for them. It acts as a potential early warning sign, giving you and your doctor an opportunity to identify and manage cardiovascular risk factors before they lead to more serious health events. Think of it this way. If you were a mechanic looking at a car engine and noticed that one small specific function was failing intermittently, you'd start looking for the underlying cause, especially if that function relied on a system that was critical to the whole engine. Difficulty maintaining an erection is like that intermittent failure in a critical system. Your vascular health. The emotional impact of not being able to maintain an erection can be profound. It can lead to feelings of inadequacy, embarrassment, and shame. Men might start avoiding intimacy altogether to prevent the potential disappointment or perceived failure. This avoidance can strain relationships and further reduce confidence. It's important to remember that this is a common medical issue with underlying physical reasons, not a reflection of your desirability or manhood. It's a health problem that needs attention. What actions should you take if you experience difficulty maintaining an erection? First, try to be open and honest with your partner, if you have one. Sharing what you're experiencing can alleviate some of the pressure and embarrassment. Partners are often more understanding and supportive than you might anticipate. They care about you and your well-being, not just sexual performance. Second, this sign is a strong indicator that a conversation with a doctor, particularly a urologist or cardiologist, is warranted. They can perform tests to assess your cardiovascular health, including blood pressure checks, cholesterol tests, and possibly other cardiac evaluations depending on your overall health profile and risk factors. Addressing underlying issues like high blood pressure or cholesterol, managing diabetes effectively, or improving overall cardiovascular health through diet, exercise, and not smoking can often lead to a significant improvement in erectile function. There are also medical treatments specifically for ED, such as oral medications, vacuum devices, or injections that can help restore the ability to maintain an erection. These treatments work by enhancing blood flow or trapping blood more effectively. The key takeaway here is that difficulty maintaining an erection isn't just about sex. It's a potential signal about your broader cardiovascular health. Addressing it proactively can not only improve your sex life, but potentially safeguard your heart and overall well-being in the long run. Don't dismiss it as just getting old. See it as a prompt to prioritize your health. It's a treatable issue, and seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Moving on from the ability to maintain an erection, the third early sign that urologists highlight as crucial not to ignore relates to the quality or firmness of the erection itself. This sign is often noticed even when an erection can be achieved and potentially maintained for a time, but it simply doesn't feel as hard or rigid as it used to be. The third early sign is reduced firmness or rigidity. You might be able to get an erection and it might even last, but you notice that it feels softer, less engorged, or not firm enough for comfortable penetration or satisfactory sexual activity. It might feel spongy rather than hard. This can be particularly confusing because you're still getting an erection, so you might think there's no problem, but the diminished quality is the key signal here. Why is reduced firmness an important early sign? Similar to difficulty maintaining an erection, reduced firmness is very strongly linked to vascular health. A fully rigid erection depends on a significant volume of blood flowing into the penis under pressure and being effectively trapped. Reduced firmness indicates that either the blood flow isn't as strong as it should be, the erectile tissues aren't as healthy and capable of trapping blood, or a combination of both. Again, this points towards potential issues with the blood vessels themselves. If the vessels are beginning to narrow, harden, or lose their elasticity, they may not be able to dilate sufficiently to allow the necessary blood flow for maximum rigidity. This is another instance where the smaller blood vessels in the penis can give you an early warning about the health of your entire circulatory system. If the vessels supplying the penis are compromised, it increases the likelihood that vessels elsewhere, including those critical for heart and brain function, might also be experiencing similar issues. For men over 60, reduced firmness is a particularly common early indicator that requires attention. It might be one of the first noticeable physical changes related to aging blood vessels or the onset of age-related conditions like atherosclerosis, hypertension, or diabetes. These conditions directly impact vascular health and are significant risk factors for more serious events like heart attacks and strokes. A persistent reduction in erectile firmness, even if you can still achieve an erection, should prompt you to consider it as a potential symptom of underlying cardiovascular issues. It's not just about the firmness of your erection, it could be about the health of your heart and arteries. Ignoring this sign means potentially missing an opportunity to address serious health risks early. Experiencing reduced firmness can impact a man's self-esteem and confidence significantly. Even if intimacy is still possible, the feeling that things aren't working as well as they used to can be dispiriting. It can make a man feel older, less vital, or inadequate. Partners might also notice the difference, which can add another layer of stress or awkwardness if it's not discussed openly. Again, it's crucial to view this not as a personal failing, but as a medical issue with potential underlying causes that are treatable. What actions should you take if you notice a reduction in erectile firmness? As with the other signs, communication with a partner is important. Beyond that, this is a clear signal that you should consult with a healthcare provider. Mentioning reduced firmness specifically can help the doctor understand the nature of the issue. They will likely want to perform a physical examination and order blood tests to check for common culprits like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, and low testosterone. These are all conditions that can impact blood flow and contribute to reduced firmness. Depending on your overall health and risk factors, your doctor might also recommend tests to assess your cardiovascular health more directly. Addressing any underlying health conditions that are identified is the primary approach to improving erectile firmness and, more importantly, protecting your overall health. Lifestyle changes, such as adopting a heart-healthy diet, getting regular exercise, quitting smoking, and managing stress, can significantly improve blood flow and vascular health, potentially leading to improved erectile function. If underlying health conditions are managed and lifestyle changes are implemented and reduced firmness persists, there are also medical treatments available, including oral medications specifically designed to enhance blood flow to the penis and improve rigidity. The key message here is that reduced firmness is a legitimate early sign of potential health issues, particularly vascular ones. It warrants medical evaluation, not just because you want firmer erections, but because addressing the underlying cause could be crucial for your overall health and longevity. Don't rationalize it away. See it as your body giving you important feedback. So, we've talked about listening to your body when it shows signs of inconsistency in getting an erection, difficulty maintaining an erection, and reduced firmness. These three early signals, while potentially uncomfortable to acknowledge, are really valuable pieces of information about your health. They are not just isolated issues related to sexual performance. Urologists understand that they are often interconnected with your broader physical well-being, especially cardiovascular health. Remember how we discussed that the blood vessels in the penis can be an early indicator for issues elsewhere in your body? That's the crucial point here. Addressing these early signs isn't just about restoring erectile function, although that is certainly a positive outcome. It's also about potentially uncovering and managing conditions like heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension in their earlier stages, which can literally add years to your life and improve your quality of life significantly. It's easy to feel embarrassed or reluctant to talk about these things. Men, especially, are often conditioned to be stoic and not talk about vulnerabilities. But honestly, your doctor has heard it all before, and they are there to help, not to judge. Bringing up these early signs is a responsible and proactive step towards managing your health. Think about it. If you noticed a strange, persistent pain in your chest, you wouldn't ignore it, right? You'd get it checked out because you know it could be serious. We need to start thinking about changes in erectile function with the same level of importance because they can be signals of serious underlying health conditions. Many men find that once they open up to their doctor, a weight is lifted and they can start working towards solutions. And solutions are often available, whether it's through lifestyle changes, managing underlying health conditions, or specific treatments for ED. Significant improvement is possible for most men. It's about getting the right diagnosis and the right plan for you. Taking action when you notice these early signs allows for the widest range of options and the best potential outcomes. It allows you to take control of your health and well-being. Don't let embarrassment or denial prevent you from living your fullest, most vibrant life at every age. Your health, your confidence, and your relationships are worth it. Remember, small changes can make a big difference to your health and happiness, and that includes paying attention to the signals your body sends you. These three early signs of erectile dysfunction are important signals that deserve your attention and a conversation with your doctor. It is a treatable condition, and addressing it can lead to improvements not just in your sex life, but in your overall health and how you feel about yourself. If anything we talked about today resonated with you, or if you have any experiences or thoughts you'd like to share regarding this topic, please feel free to leave a comment below. Sharing can help others going through similar things feel less alone. We're building a supportive community here. If you found this information helpful and empowering, please give this video a like, as that really helps us reach more people who might benefit from it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos focused on helping you live your best life at every age. Taking care of yourself is the most important thing you can do, and being informed is the first step. Live your best life at every age.